What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and no, this is not a hybrid. This is not a combination of a Floowanderezze and Harpie. No, this is actually full Floowanderezze, and I'm actually quite excited to give you guys a full Floowanderezze deck profile because I'm pretty sure many of you have been waiting for me to return to the bugs. So I am returning to the bugs with Floowanderezze. And Floowanderezze is very much just normal summon the deck. Literally, it is. It's basically what Monarchs do, but with winged beast monsters instead. And I'm very excited to bring you guys this deck profile because this is one of many of the options that I kind of want to play for next format, but it also depends on how the next Forbidden Limited list wants to play with us as well. So, you know how it goes. Alright, with that in tow, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at my version of Floowanderezze. So it starts off with my monster lineup, and I'm running 3 copies of Floowanderezze in Rabina. That's followed up by 3 copies of Floowanderezze in England. I'm going to move everybody up here for a minute because we're going to have a couple of monsters joining. We're going to have 2 copies of Floowanderezze in Impin, 1 copy of Toucan, 1 copy of Stree, 1 copy of Mist Valley Apex Avian, and 1 copy of Ryza, the Mega Monarch. To round out the monsters in the deck, of course, there is a full set of Dimensional Shifter. So that is it for all of my monsters. We are now going to head and go into the spells. For the spell cards, I am rocking 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. That then is followed up by 3 copies of Pot of Duality. Then for the Floowanderezze cards, we have 3 copies of Floowanderezze in the Magnificent Map, and 3 copies of Floowanderezze in the Advent of Adventure. 1 copy of Floowanderezze in the Unexplored Winds, 1 copy of Terraforming, 2 copies of Dark Ruler No More, and then 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. So that is it for all of the spells. And then we're going to go into the trap cards. I am rocking 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm. Then that is followed up by 3 copies of Evenly Matched. And then 1 copy of Floowanderezze in the Dreaming Town. So that's it. That's all my main deck. Really, 40 cards. Then we're going to go ahead and go on into the extra deck with 3 copies of Cyber / Harpie Lady. Then that is followed by 3 copies of Harpie Conductor. Then that's followed up by literally any cards you want to put into your extra deck, because these are the ones I'm putting in mine. 1 copy of Winnie the Wind Charmer Verdant, 2 copies of Lureless Assembly Blue Robin, 2 copies of Lureless Assembly Nightingale, 2 copies of Lureless Bracktail Starling, 1 copy of Utopic Future, and 1 copy of AA Zeus Sky Thunder. So I believe that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards in my extra deck. So while we go ahead and we go through this. So, with the lineup of things I've chosen to put into the deck, primarily are just built because, well, why not, right? So, we have our 2 searchers. We have Floowanderezze Rabina, and we have Floowanderezze in England. England searches for any Winged Beast monster that is level 7 or higher. Rabina searches for any Winged Beast that's level 4 or lower. Yes, Rabina can even search for copies of itself, but the only thing is this. You can only use the effect of Rabina, that effect of Rabina once per turn. As well as the mandatory effect of, well, all the Floowanderezze monsters for the most part, is their additional normal summon, but you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn. That's a condition to activate their additional effect, which at this point, if you're playing Floowanderezze, then you really don't care about a special summon. The rare occasion that you'll ever special summon is only if you actually need to special summon. And I wish I was joking, but no, that's actually the honest truth. You're really only special summoning unless you have to special summon. And even then, you run enough cards in your main and extra deck to really not have to do that. You just have to worry about what your opponent does when they don't want special summon. Now, from there, we're going to go into the copy of Impin. 2 copies of Impin that I run. I know most builds are now running a full set, but I have a lot of cards in here that I'm just like, no, I can't really afford to want to run full set of things unless I actually need them. And for the only real thing that I run about Impin is simply just the fact that Impin is a searcher for your souls and traps, but also an additional normal summon. So with the lineup of things that you're already running to play around with Impin, you're basically just playing around just to go get your other cards. That's literally it. And with a lot of the support that you have in the deck to play around with your opponent's shenanigans, you'll be perfectly fine. You really, honestly, if you need the third Impin, then go for it. But I don't know. I honestly have never really needed the third one. And it's never been a thing or an issue of, yeah, I need to play a third Impin. So then to follow it up are the other two Floowanderezze monsters, Floowanderezze Street and Floowanderezze Toucan. Toucan allows you to add any banished Floowanderezze card to your hand, while Street has the ability to send any card in either graveyard and banish it. Now, one thing you do know about the Floowanderezze monsters is that once they've activated their primary effect, whether it's to search, whether it's to banish, or whether it says, also you have to have a valid target. You got to make sure that what you're getting rid of goes away, and then you're able to get your additional normal summon. That is the conditions and things that you have to do in order for your additional normal summon. Outside of that, you're pretty much locked and loaded to go. The other effects that they have is that when a card effect is activated, you can chain their ability to then return them to the hand, which are hard once per turn. So, like I said, you just have to be careful of things that you do, but every effect you can at least activate once per turn each, and you'll be perfectly set with how the flow of the game goes from there. So, sorry about the weird options, because I'm really not too much paying attention, and also the glare, because glare is a thing. Then we go on to our other two big winged beast monsters. We have Ryza the Storm Monarch and Mist Valley Apex Avian, which are great additions to the deck because of the fact that they're high-level winged beasts. Apex Avian is an Omni-Gate. Ryza is a great remover. You know, if you have to tribute Apex, you can always get it back with Ryza, so you're never worried. I was always considering wanting to run a second Ryza or second Apex Avian, but I feel like that may be a little too much, so I'm not going to poke the bear when it's not needed. And honestly, I think these are the biggest additions you could ever have to a winged beast deck like this. And it's such a great addition because you have Ryza's ability to remove, and you have Apex's ability to negate. Then we have, of course, everybody's favorite hand trap of this format, D-Shifter, who basically just sits there and tells you, yeah, no graveyard at all. And it doesn't even hurt Floowanderezze because most of their stuff is already going to get banished by effects anyway, and even they banish themselves when they leave the field outside of Impin, so you're pretty much able to get them back. And it's really not going to hurt you at all. You have way too many resources that you can abuse to get things back, and D-Shifter is not going to be a problem to you, even if your opponent plays the D-Shifter on you. Alright, from there, now we go ahead and we go on into the next wave of the deck, which is all of the spells and traps. So starting off our pots. We have Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Duality. So Pot of Duality and Pot of Prosperity are funny enough on their own because they actually, for cards that are supposed to seem like they work against each other, they actually don't. Pot of Duality allows you to excavate, not draw, so you're not forced into a draw that Pot of Prosperity negates you out of. While Pot of Prosperity says you excavate top 3 to 6 cards from your deck, depending on the number of extra deck cards, monsters that you're going to be banishing to monsters from your extra deck, cards from your extra deck that you're going to be banishing in order for you to activate this effect. So the thing about this that I love is that with Floowanderezze, they don't care about their extra deck. Simply, you can just throw your extra deck to the wayside, and bam, there you go. You're able to go get your cards. People love that about Pot. People have played that similar mentality with Pot of Extravagance, and it's one of also the big things that people have played through because of the fact that there was another archetype that also didn't really care too much about its extra deck. It's called Mozoche. And they took a lot of advantage of Pot of Prosperity as well. Because if a deck can do a lot of searching, there really isn't much of a need for draw power. The draw power is just additionally there if you can't get into your pots, or you need your pots for later on. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Duality and Prosperity. Then we got all these Floowanderezze cards that we got to talk about. We have our Magnificent Map. We have our Advent of Adventure. And we have our unexplored wins. So the best thing about the Floowanderezze cards is that you can easily get them back with Toucan, so you're not worried about that. What you do want your opponent to fear is all the things you can do with it. Avid Adventure can search for your field spell, or it can search for any of your Floowanderezze monsters. By banishing a Wingy Beast you control, or on your from your hand or on your field. Now this is also, excuse me, a great way of getting out of dodge from cards like Infinity Impermanence, or even cards like Effect Veiler. That's why a lot of people love the Advent of Adventure, because it simply just plays around with so many of those things that would hinder this deck. Another thing about this Advent of Adventure is that basically it plays like it's basically another terraforming, while terraforming itself is already at 1. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's like more search, more search. The Magnificent Map. Let's talk about this Magnificent Field spell. So this is the one that during your main phase, you reveal a Floowanderezze level 1 monster to then search your deck for another Floowanderezze and banish it, and then give yourself a normal summon after you've done such. And the great thing about it is that just sets up for the Floowanderezze monster, because most of them are going to chain to the other Floowanderezze monster's effects. So if you don't have your Rabina, play another Floowanderezze monster, hope you have the target for its ability, and then go get Rabina. And then just go ahead through your full combo. Then let's also talk about the fact that this card during your opponent's turn, if they normal summon and it's resolved, you can normal summon after that monster has been normal summoned. Yeah. Yeah. It's just that, yeah, it gets real nasty with this build spell. So, and then let's talk about the unexplored wins, which is basically soul exchange. Literally, it's a soul exchange and a continuous spell that can be searched by this archetype. And the other thing is you can even get rid of your opponent's traps and spells to activate this card's tribute effect. So basically, when you tribute something for a monster that requires a Wingy Beast that requires 2 or more tributes, tribute summon for a monster that requires 2 or more tributes. You can tribute one monster you control into a card your opponent controls. And it doesn't matter which card they control. It can be a spell, it can be a trap. This is where the unexplored wins definitely puts in the effort. The other ability to this unexplored wins is that you're able to send 2 engaged monsters from your hand to the bottom of your deck to then draw 2 cards. So if you have too many pieces, you can just send them to the bottom of your deck and then draw off of it. You do know it will conflict with your Pot of Prosperities. We've already done what you needed to with pot, or you just haven't got into your pot. This is where the unexplored wins helps out with that. So that is it for all of the Floowanderezze cards. I've already said it enough, but terraforming to search. Dark Ruler No More for the massive negate. And Triple Tactics Talent. I don't own any Triple Tactics Thrust because that card just got announced at the time of this recording to be given its reprint, and it's going to even be more expensive. It's going to be harder to get to, because I'm just going to say it now. I know those 10s are going to be a problem, especially because of the fact that those 10s are definitely going to have a lot to them. So, yeah, it's just one of those situations. It really is. But, no, with tactics, you can do one of things. We know your opponent's going to activate a monster effect on your turn. That's perfectly fine. But with additions you get to it, or draw 2, take control of your opponent's monster to the end of the turn, or be able to look at your opponent's hand and insert a card from their hand to the deck. So, yeah, confiscation, pot of greed, or change your heart. Pick one. That's really it. And I'm definitely going to pick one. So, from there, we go on into our trap cards. Harpie's Feather Storm. Considering the fact that I have all these monsters in the extra deck that are all Harpie, the only real reason is literally because if you ever get the chance to use something, go for it. Like, if you have to, go for it. Harpie's Feather Storm is... Because I remember there was a post about this on Twitter, where Floowanderezze in... Harpie's Feather Storm is one of those cards that it's supposed to work with its archetype, but it actually doesn't. Other Winged Beast decks use it, primarily Floowanderezze. Why? Because they have access to win Winged Beast monsters. This is a card you can easily set, bait out some things from your opponent, and just simply benefit from it. I am siding in Harpie's Feather Duster because this is a format that really doesn't have too many back row things, but you can have a lot of answers for your game 2s. Then, evenly matched. I love evenly matched, especially when you're not going first. You can easily just drop this, or go straight to your battle phase, drop this, and then banish things from your opponent, and then just set out a whole bunch of stuff to lock them out. This is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen out of a normal trap since Infinity Impermeance. And even funny enough, Infinity Impermeance and Harpie's Feather Storm came out almost around the same time. I think Infinity Impermeance came out maybe a year before, or I think a year after. And I want to say a year after. No, I want to say maybe 2 years after. The time period for Infinity Impermeance is weird. But then again, so is my memory from that period of time, too. Because I think it's 2017, 2018, and I think Imperm was like 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know I did get a reprint, and I picked up the reprints of it. So probably 2018, I think 2019 was when it got reprinted. I think. Don't quote me on that. And then the last of the trap cards is Floowanderezze in the Dreaming Town. That's simply just to play off of more, to piss off your opponent. Because it's like, yeah, look, remember when you said I can normal summon? Remember when I said I was going to normal summon? That's what this Dreaming Town does. It lets you normal summon. And I believe this triggers immediately after you resolve, you can normal summon a level 4 or lower Wingy Beast monster from your hand. And if you control a level 7 or higher Wingy Beast monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, I believe, to change all monsters on your opponent's side of the field into face down to resist position. This does also work with Snow, who's in the card's artwork. That's going to allow you to do piercing battle damage, but I don't want Snow. Oh, and I just remembered, no, that is a Snow in the artwork. Those are just the birds themselves flying in the sky. This is so pretty. Whoever thought pretty birds could be so destructive? Then for the extra deck, and I'm just going to be 100% honest, I left my extra deck. And my extra deck is basically as many cards I want to fit into it without any issues, because the only thing that I really have to fear is someone smart enough to actually play any of these cards in the extra deck and then having to drop Ghost, what is it? The Winter Cherries. That's literally all I have to worry about. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. But rare occasion, right? So 3 Cyber / Harpie Lady and 3 Harpie Conductor, literally because of the Harpie, because of our spell Harpie's Feather Storm, our trap Harpie's Feather Storm. That's literally it. Other than that, every other card in here is just because I'm either a particular level, and I can just easily be fished out thanks to Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Prosperity. Windy, in Blue, Gale, Starling, and then just to put things on top of things in case we need those situations. Yeah, I do got Utopic Future. I do have Zeus. You can run Downer Magician. You can run that, what is that thing? That little beetle. The drill beetle thingy that does piercing. You run him too. You can even run a Gaia Charger. Like, if you just want to create a stack just so you can stack into your Zeus, just go right ahead. That's literally it. You're just stacking things in for Zeus, if Zeus ever has to come to the field. But like I said, it's a rare occasion where I'm actually going to have to really care too much about it. But for the most part, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for my deck profile for Floowanderezze. I'm having an enjoyable time playing Flu. I don't know what the next Forbidden Limited list is going to be, but fingers crossed that nothing in Flu gets desperately hit that bad. Because people string Featherstorm, but then you're also hurting Harpie when you hurt Featherstorm. And look, I'm already having enough issues with Harpie support as it is. I don't need more issues. So, with that in tow, thanks everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more content to my channel. My social media links are in the description box below, and you guys can catch me, and you guys can catch my other content by looking at some of the playlists that I leave at the end of the video. So with that said and done, thanks everyone for watching. HPJ signing out. Take care.